Hello and welcome to Musical Musings, a place where musicians at St. Thomas the Apostle Hollywood muse about music. Today's musician is April Mendiola, our wonderful soprano section leader in the St. Thomas Choir. So today we're welcoming April Mendiola. She's our soprano section leader in the St. Thomas Choir. Welcome, April.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this, April. So you lead the soprano section in our choir, and you've done that for a little bit of time. So how long have you been here with us at St. Thomas?
I've been at St. Thomas just over a year. I joined March of 2019 around Easter time, or just, I think it was Easter time. Exactly.
Right, yeah, you came at kind of a busy time. Yeah, and it was because our former soprano section leader, she got another professional opportunity, and you came in and you saved the day.
I did my best.
You did great, and that's why you're still with us. You're wonderful. You've been a great asset, both with your beautiful voice and your very warm, generous personality. So we've been very fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
So April, what's your musical background? Where did it all start for you?
I was very lucky in that my public school education offered musical opportunities. I attended a K through 8 school, public school in Alhambra. I started with the violin in 4th grade, and then I did that in 5th grade too, and then in 6th grade I decided to learn the flute. So then I did that from 6th through 8th grade. And then I had this weird desire to learn a brass instrument. So I learned the baritone horn, or the euphonium, and I played that in high school marching band, and the flute as well. So singing didn't really come into the picture until like the latter half of my high school years. It was because I joined the musical, and I discovered that singing was very easy for me. It was natural, and the vibrato was never something I had to work for. So then I decided maybe I should take some voice lessons and see if I can do something with this. And I did. And then after maybe a few months of voice lessons, I auditioned for colleges the following spring, and it worked out. It was a really big leap of faith, because I was going to audition as an instrumental major, but something inside me just said, I think I feel like doing vocal. So I did. And here I am now.
So you left to go to college and major in music and music vocal performance.
I majored in music education. Music education. That was my degree at Cal State Fullerton. And I kind of went back and forth throughout my undergrad, because I wanted to be a performer, but I loved teaching, and I've always wanted to teach. That was a decision I made very early on in life. But I also loved performing. But there was a time, as a young adult, where I really questioned my abilities, and I never allowed myself to be heard, or I didn't give myself any opportunity, because I just felt that, I wasn't good enough. That was a big part of my young adulthood. So, but, I didn't let it stop me. And then I get older and wiser, and I decide, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to be heard, and I'm going to sing out and proud.
That's awesome. That's really great. I actually think it's beneficial to start out with an instrument of some sort, and then move on to singing, because it gives you the foundation to the sort of, the notation and the kinesthetic relationship with an instrument, and
Mhm.
then it becomes very natural to sing, what's on the page, right? Or at least, do you feel that way?
I do. Yes. Just as far as, theory and reading notes, it was It was so beneficial, especially because I played an instrument where I had to read treble clef, and then I played a brass instrument where I had to read bass clef. So that was nice to be able to I needed to know both.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you play piano as well?
I did. It was one of those things where I took like 6 months of lessons when I was 8, and then the minute I was able to do something at my school, and it was free at school, so I just took advantage of that. So I stopped taking piano. Of course, I wish I wouldn't have, because I'm sure it would have made my life so much easier as a music major. But learning and just having to acquire that skill as an adult was very hard, and I'm still not where I want to be. But I've really forced myself to be able to, at least do no harm when I'm leading a class, when I'm playing.
That's good. That's a good thing. So, you said you teach, so can you maybe give us a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, I teach high school. I teach in the Alhambra Unified School District at Mark Keppel High School. I actually just started teaching this year. And I actually attended that school district from kindergarten through 12th grade. So it's really special that I could give back now. I didn't attend Mark Keppel, I attended Alhambra High School. But just the fact that I could be a part of the district as a teacher now, it's thrilling. It's really, if I could say a dream job, that is the dream job. That's what I would have wanted.
That's wonderful. It seems like you've made full circle.
I really did, yeah. And some of the teachers are still there that were my teachers, and some of my principals are still there. So now to see them as colleagues, it's fun. And but some of them I still call them Miss so and so or Mr. so and so, and they want me to stop doing that, but it's hard for me to mentally get that out of my vocabulary.
Yeah, I used to teach high school, and my former students, some of them live here in LA, and I'll run into them and they'll say, "Hey, Mr. Parola." And I'm like, "Really? You graduated what, 13 years ago?"
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, but that's the thing about being a teacher is in a lot of people's minds, you'll always be Miss
Mhm.
Mendiola. That's going to happen to you. You're going to see your adult students on the street, and they're going to be like, "Hi, Miss Mendiola."
Mhm. Yep. And yeah, and then I'll remember the feeling, and then I'll understand, because I'm sure
That's
it's
great.
gonna, not in a bad way, but I'm sure it's going to make me feel a little more seasoned, for lack of a better word.
I think it's a great word, actually. It describes the feeling.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you've embarked on this new journey. You've been there for a year. You finished your whole school year just a bit
Mhm.
ago, yeah?
Yeah.
What was it like teaching at the end of the school year with going into, shelter in place?
Ooh, it was difficult. It was hard to get a hold of 100% of the students. So just to get the students to want to log on was a challenge. So I had to make the assignments it really became less about content and more about keeping us together as a community. And that's what I had to be okay with, because I'm so content driven. I have these things that I want them to know by the end of this day, by that time. And a lot of that was let go, because I just wanted them to feel supportive and feel that they weren't alone. So it became so much more about just being together in a virtual community, rather than, we have to learn this and that.
So you've made your life music.
I have.
What's that like? What's that? First of all, what did you set out to make your life music, or is that something that just happened?
You know, that's funny, because I've been thinking about that a lot, since I've had a lot of time to reflect and think about life. Um, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. I think I made that decision when I was in first grade because I loved my teacher and I knew I wanted to be a teacher. When I became involved with the music programs at my schools, that became my thing. You know, I did it fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up through high school and beyond. So it just seemed like I couldn't not do it. It was just, I had to, and I needed to do it. I did think, you know, if I weren't a music teacher, I would still be a teacher, but I would probably be a math teacher because I love math too.
A musician who loves math? What?
What? Yeah, I was very tempted to get another credential to teach math. I was just worried that in doing that, I would lose music classes because I had that credential, and I would, if I have the credential, I would, you know, essentially need to teach the classes if they were offered to me. So I decided, you know, I stood by music for however long. It's hurt me, it's made me better, it's made me learn so much. So I think all of that, you know, that culmination of life experiences, there's no way I couldn't do it. If that makes sense.
That makes total sense. There's a certain inevitability in it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be the first musician to love math. I mean, there is Bach. Apparently, he was a
Right.
mathematician.
Yeah.
He was like an amateur mathematician, but fully engaged in mathematics as a hobby. So,
I did not know that.
yeah, he was. That's why
Wow.
his music is so intricate and complex, but very organized, right?
It is organized. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of composers, do you have any favorite pieces that we've done at St. Thomas?
There are a number of pieces that I love, and I mean all of the rep that we do at St. Thomas. It's right up my alley, and it's what I feel that, you know, my voice just where it wants to be. But one that just comes to mind is the one we did for Valentine's Day week. Rise Up My Fair One, My Love. That one was beautiful.
By Healy Willen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful piece. So tender and expressive.
Yeah. And I mean, when I first joined the choir, there were other pieces that we were doing. We were doing the Duroflay Ubi Caritas, which I love.
Yeah, we did that for Maundy Thursday, I think. So it was right before Easter.
Yeah. And then I remember learning your piece, Canticle of Thanksgiving.
That's
And
right.
I remember because there was one weekend when I was new and I was the only soprano there. You know, and I'm sight reading all of this, and like I'm the only soprano here, so if I mess up, yeah, it is what it is. And I remember I was sight reading your piece, and
No
I
pressure.
love it. You know, it was just it was so easy to sing, and like every time we rehearsed it, I wanted to keep singing it. And I'm not saying this on purpose because you're interviewing me.
Well, it's sweet of you to say, April. Thank you. So you right now are not able to sing with us because we are not able to sing together. And we've been having you sing occasionally to cantor remotely, recording things and then sending them in so we can add them to our digital liturgies. How's that been?
It's been hard. It's of course I miss it. You know, I miss it so much. I miss driving out to Hollywood, you know, and just the whole experience. It's like a ritual, you know, you go out there and you make music and you're around these amazing human beings who are so welcoming and loving and compassionate. So not having that has definitely been hard. And there's definitely a sense of, you know, I long it and I want it. Not, I don't want it to sound selfish, but, you know, I do, and I need it, you know. But I understand that, you know, we have to take care of each other and ourselves and make sure we stay safe as a community. So it's been hard. It's just been sad, and I miss it. And I know it's been affecting me. It's been, an underlying, something in my head that's bringing me, I don't want to say it's bringing me down and I'm mopey all the time, but it definitely affects me. It affects my everyday life. And when I get sad about something, it's not like I can go and sing. So I can't look forward to go and sing somewhere, in a day or two. But I am grateful that I've had those opportunities to do the chants for the masses and all of that, even if it's remotely. It's challenged me on my Gregorian chant reading. I try to sight read it before I go and listen to it to make sure that I'm getting it right. And it's each week it's like, okay, yeah, it's getting easier, it's getting easier, it's getting easier. So, but I'm really grateful for those opportunities because it keeps me accountable as a musician, and it also gives me that opportunity to share it with the community.
Yeah, people really love seeing your faces and hearing your voices for our digital masses. It just makes the experience more connectable and enriched. So thank you for doing that. It means a lot to all of us. So to conclude, do you have anything you'd like to say to our community? Any words that you'd like to share with people as we're away from each other?
I guess, if we remind ourselves that, just not having the physical space, doesn't mean that we can't be together. We can't be together in our faith. And I've seen this going around, social media, that, the church never closed. The building's closed, but the church never closes. We are always open.
Thank you for watching. Please be sure to follow us on social media for upcoming content. Until next time, God bless and take care.